In the quiet foothills of Colorado's Roosevelt National Forest, the morning silence was pierced by a sound, raw, desperate, and echoing through the trees. It wasn't a scream from a person, but it was a cry for help all the same. A dog had fallen into an old, forgotten well, its whimper ringing out from the depths below. No one knew how long he'd been down there, but what happened next would remind everyone who heard the story that hope isn't limited to humans, and neither is courage. It was just after sunrise when two hikers, Jess and Tyler, were trekking a lesser-known trail near Pine Hollow. They paused when they heard something strange, a rhythmic, muffled howl carried by the wind. Not quite human, not quite wild, just pleading. Following the sound, they pushed through thickets and brambles until they reached a small, overgrown clearing. In the center sat a moss-covered stone well, almost hidden by decades of leaf litter and creeping vines. Jess peered over the edge and gasped. "Tyler, it's a dog. There's a dog down there." 30 feet below, a muddy golden retriever stared up at them with wide, terrified eyes. His fur was soaked and caked in mud, one leg at an awkward angle. But he was alive and calling for help. Then they heard a second whimper. Turning around, they spotted a smaller dog, a puppy, sitting silently by the well, its eyes locked on them. She was trembling, her paws raw, and she didn't bark or run. She just stared as if she'd led them here on purpose. "She went for help," Jess whispered. "She stayed with him and waited for someone to come." Tyler immediately called emergency services. Within 30 minutes, Park Ranger Matthew Clark arrived on the scene. A seasoned rescuer and former search and rescue dog handler himself, Matt quickly assessed the situation. The well was old, narrow, and unstable. There were no signs of struggle at the top, likely the dog had fallen in during the night. His companion, the brave little pup, had stayed by his side ever since. Matt radioed in for help from the Colorado Animal Rescue Task Unit, CART, a specialized team with experience in tough animal extractions. Time was critical. The retriever, later named Buck, was barely responsive, and the pup, who the hikers nicknamed Scout, refused to leave his side, pacing anxiously. An hour later, the CART team arrived, led by field coordinator Erica Daniels. "It's deep," she said after surveying the scene. "We'll need a harness, dual rope anchors, and a hoist. We've got one shot to get him out safely." While the team set up, Matt comforted Scout, offering her water and wrapping her in a blanket. She wouldn't drink until she saw the rescuers moving toward the well. Joel, a trained climber and veterinary technician, volunteered to go down. As he was slowly lowered, the forest seemed to go still. 30 feet down, he reached the ledge where Buck lay shivering. "I see him," Joel radioed. "Left hind leg looks broken. He's alert, barely, but hanging on." Joel wrapped Buck in a thermal blanket and secured him into a lift harness. The dog didn't resist. There was no fight left, just quiet, exhausted trust. Above, the team began to hoist him up, slowly, steadily. But halfway up, a sharp crack rang out. One of the main ropes had begun to fray. "He's slipping," someone shouted. "Switch to the backup now," Erica commanded. The team moved fast, engaging the second tether. Buck groaned, a low, pained sound, but the harness held. Scout whimpered, her eyes wide with fear. Matt knelt beside her. "He's gonna make it," he whispered. "You got him help. You did good." Finally, Buck's head appeared above the edge of the well. His eyes squinted at the sudden light, and the team gently eased him onto a padded stretcher. His body was limp, but he was breathing. Dr. Jordan Miles, an emergency vet who'd arrived with the team, went straight to work. Buck was hypothermic, dehydrated, and in shock. The vet team wrapped him in warming blankets and started an IV. Scout immediately tried to crawl into the stretcher beside him. "Let her," Dr. Miles said. "She's part of his recovery now." Inside a portable shelter with heaters humming and monitors beeping, the two dogs lay curled together. Scout never left his side, her tiny head resting on his neck. As the sun dipped behind the trees, casting long shadows across the clearing, the team faced a choice: transport Buck to a veterinary hospital, or keep the dogs together and treat him here until he stabilized. "If we separate them, it could traumatize them both," Dr. Miles said. "She's his anchor." They stayed. That night, under the glow of emergency lights, Buck stirred. For the first time in hours, he lifted his head and looked at Scout. She licked his nose and wagged her tail. He's turning the corner, Matt said softly. 3 weeks later, Ranger Matt returned to the clearing, a wildlife cam in hand. He'd come to check the well, now sealed with stone and fencing, but also to look for signs. Fresh paw prints. 3 sets. He reviewed the trail camera footage and smiled. It showed Buck, now walking with a slight limp, gout bouncing beside him, and a third dog, a tall shepherd mix, walking ahead, glancing back occasionally to make sure the others were following. A new pack, a new beginning. Matt turned off the camera and left 3 apples near the clearing, not because he expected dogs to eat them, but because sometimes symbols matter more than food, and sometimes a little low hope and a lot of heart can pull someone from the darkest depths into the light.